Morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 30th, 2021, and today the topic is Amazing Grace. Oh man, well, you guys, I went back to summer camp yesterday. Helped out there. Um, it was cool to get back in the swing of things with the kiddos, see where they were with their assignments that I had given, things like that. I could definitely see that they were kind of excited or whatever the case was. Maybe that day break gave them more energy or whatever the case was. I don't know, but um, they were super hype. yeah, when we started the, I guess you want to say class yesterday and everything like that. And the cool thing is I had a surprise for them. Bros Catering came by and dropped off some cookies, some really, really tasty cookies. I'm talking about, man, listen, look, he gave everybody a little box, right? So I got the box on behalf of NJ. But I was like, son, listen. Listen, you know what, you ain't even being good right now. So look, any excuse to eat all them cookies, right? They were strawberry milkshake cookies. And they was good, y'all. They was good. And now I'm not one to like little pieces of fruit or little cooked fruit and stuff like that. I'm weird. I think I'm weird about textures or whatnot. And he had some little pieces of strawberry in there, but they was super little, so I couldn't tell. And so they didn't hurt my experience of the cooking. And so yeah, man. And then not only that, he came around and was talking about, oh, I'm gonna bring the kids some cupcakes. So they don't know. But apparently they're supposed to be getting some cupcakes today. And I'm over here like, these children are blessed. Look, so Bros Catering, y'all, or excuse me, Bros Bites. Bros Bites. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook, all those good places, y'all. Yeah, tell you, it was a blessing. Now, what else happened yesterday? I did a virtual class with my, students I've been working with for the past few months or whatever the case was, and trying to get some things together with them in regards to their monologues. We're working on comedic monologues, so yeah, trying to see, what we're gonna do with them and whatnot. And so I did that, and soon after, actually, hubby and I, we went and popped up on Bros Catering. But no, he invited us over, and so I customarily brought my favorite bottle of wine that is currently on my website, miracleofwine.com. It is the Black Muscat. I think those of you all that follow me on social media, you should know that already. But if not, I mean, yes, the favorite one on my site that is miracle approved for sure is the Black Muscat, and I brought over a bottle. Uh, there with Mr. Derek again of Bros Bites. And, he blessed us with a meal, and we enjoyed the wine and just had a good old chat and everything like that. So that was nice and whatnot, just to do something different. Um, he invited us again for Thursday, but I just realized this morning that, man, I might not be able to go because technically I have a episode scheduled to record on Thursday evening. So, goodness gracious, I might be missing out on a good meal. But we'll see. We'll see what happens and everything like that. But yeah, that's what happened last night. So then your girl went on to bed when we got back home and all that good stuff. And yes, when I woke up this morning, I was in that not wanting to get up mood, I might have hit the snooze, but it wasn't like the alarm went back off that I can remember. I guess the Lord just woke me up on time. um, well, not on time, but a little bit after time, because when I woke up on time, I was still asleep. But anyway, but anywho, so I did not do my full routine. I know, womp womp womp. I'm slacking, right? I'm slacking. I know. But I did pray and meditate, and that was also good again. And afterwards, interestingly enough, um, as I was saving the photo or the screenshot of the verses and whatnot that was used for the prayer meditation, the word grace stood out. Then I just happened to see an email come in, and when I looked at that notification, the first word I saw was grace. I was like, all right, Lord, let's just go with grace then. Let's do that. So I ended up looking up some verses and whatnot. They resonated with me, and here we are. Amazing grace. So, 2 Corinthians 12:9, it says, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. I mean, I say all the time how the word and the things that are biblical or biblical instruction seems to be very different from worldly instruction, right? It's the complete opposite, right? So this person here is boasting of their weakness, right? Because they know at the end of the day that God's grace, right, is sufficient, and that in their weaknesses, the power of Christ will come upon them, However, I don't know too many people that boast in their weaknesses, right? Like they're like, I'm weak in this area. Who's out here shouting that out? I'm weak in this area. you know, uh, and God's grace is what's getting me through. You know what I mean? Like that. Not many. Not many. Now, maybe those that, share their testimonies and whatnot. I mean, not to be like, well, like me. Now, but there's a lot more people out here sharing their testimony aside from me. So I'm not saying that there's nobody that, thinks this way, but very few, right? A lot of times, what we boast about, right? We boast about things we're great at. We boast about things that, you know, I mean, let's just stay at great at, right? So I don't know, just something to think about right there, y'all. That you know, boasting in our weakness, y'all, boasting in our weakness. And why do we do that? So the power of Christ may rest upon me. Now, I ended up looking up the definition of grace. And this is what the first two said. One says simple elegance or refinement of movement. And then the second says courteous goodwill. Well, y'all, I mean, I guess it's hard for me to think about grace and not think about like um one of the narratives that's out here is like, oh well, yeah, there's grace, right? There's grace. So basically what happens is people use I feel like a little level of extra right now, so my apologies. But people, it's like we use the excuse of grace to continue in our sin. Um, God's grace covers me, and all these different things that we're thinking that, well, hey, yeah, well, because grace is, God has great, gives us grace and everything like that. So, but I mean, for me, again, the Bible addresses this, right? It tells us plainly that even though, technically you can do anything you want to do, it doesn't mean you should do everything you want to do, right? Now some people understand that, some people don't. And so I guess at the end of the day, it's like we're misusing, right? Or we're, what's the word? We are taking advantage of God's grace with the idea of that, oh well, hey, he got it's his grace and mercy, X, Y, and Z. So, I do what I want to do, and then, I at some point, maybe I'll turn around, or at some point, when or whatever the case is. And I guess not acknowledging that at the end of the day, we don't know, right? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen in the next few minutes. So, to kind of brush this gift of grace, thinking that it's whatever, it's not a big deal, or it's, I don't know what people think. um, I don't know, it's just one of those things that kind of, I don't know, I think about every now and then, because a lot of people, again, what do we boast about? We boast about our sins, right? We boast about the things that we are great at, or whatever the case is. Don't acknowledge God and anything, and then in moments of weakness, that's probably the only time that we even ask God for help, or or talk to Him, and just like I said, take God for granted, right? Take His grace for granted, and so. I don't know, y'all. It's just something to think about on today. I mean, hopefully we're not, doing that a whole lot, hopefully, uh, and like I said, I'm not perfect by any means, who knows? Maybe I'm doing this to a certain extent too. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't think I go out of my way to do it, but I mean, I'm human, so it maybe, possibly, maybe there's things that God looks at about me and is like, what, Miracle, patience right now. I extended grace and mercy to you repeatedly, and at some point, I mean, I guess if you get another day and everything like that, just be thankful for that. Um, but yeah. I don't know, yeah. Again, something to think about right there. Now, Romans 6:14 says, "For sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under law, but under grace." Well, there you go, y'all. I mean, again, we should be having authority, power, like we talked about yesterday. We should have power over our sins. We should have power over ourselves, self-control, all those different things, because that's what God has given us. However, we live and operate as if we don't have power, right? We live and operate as if, like, oh, uh, I have no control over my mind. I have no control over my body. I have no control over nothing. This is what I am, or this is how I am, or whatever the case it is. And it's like, okay, but the word says for us to be born again, right? Like at some point there has to be some type of change, or some type of growth, or or something, at least in Christ, right? Because you become a new creature. I mean, all this stuff is biblical. Y'all can look up them verses. I mean, I've just said several pieces of some verses, but you should be able to look up those main quotes and find like the complete verse, and so you can see what I'm talking about if you're questioning this whole conversation right now. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, again, it says here, for sin will have no dominion over you. So, anyone living in sin, right, or anyone that is being controlled by their sins, or saying that, hey, I have no power, or hey, I have, whatever the case is, that's false according to the word of God. And yeah. So, I mean, but again, I guess it's up to you to make that decision, right? It's up to you to, acknowledge God, and then, allow Him to lead you and guide you and everything like that. And, I heard Pastor David Lynn expressing to a young lady uh, the other day that, because she had all these questions about this, that, or whatever the case was. And he just was like, at the end of the day, it just boils down to, well, let me just pause since it went away from my mind. I'll just keep going with the Bible verses. Never mind. If it comes back, I'll tell you. But anyway, so then James 4:6, it says, "But He gives more grace. Therefore," it says, "God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble." Well, I mean, I guess what I'm gathering here is that, if you want more grace, then, be humble, right? And how do we be humble? It's like, okay, again, I feel like this is just me, but I feel like it's by acknowledging the sin, right? Acknowledging that we need help, acknowledging that, at the end of the day, you know, God, I understand that your grace and mercy is a gift, that you did not have to extend this grace and mercy to me. And therefore, because you extended this grace and mercy to me, I humble myself to you, and your will and your way. And I mean, that's just the beginning, right? That's just the beginning doing that. Like, I mean, because then there's so much more, right? Because see, the more I guess, I mean, this is, I mean, maybe like spiritual milk conversation. I don't know, but it's like the more that we keep, um, you know, dealing with the basics, then we're not even getting into the purpose, right? Whatever our purposes are. Like, we're still struggling with accepting the grace and mercy, right? Accepting God. So how can we be out here, trying to make disciples and spread the gospel and all these other, you know, commands, if you want to look at them like that, all these other things that he's asked of us to do, and living our purpose and doing the things that he created us to do. Well, it's like we still stuck on the basic. We still stuck on, do I believe God exists? We're still stuck on, you know, uh well, a couple things went through my mind just now. It's like wait, one was, do I have purpose? The other was like, am I human? Like this. I mean, people are stuck on all kinds of other things, especially these days, where it's like, I mean, if you're questioning whether you're human, I mean, then I mean, goodness, like, how can you spread the gospel in any capacity? Like, you have to first, realize that you're beautifully and wonderfully made as a unique, uh maybe you want to say creature if you don't want believe that you're human. I don't know. But um y'all, man, I don't know what people go through life thinking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I've heard in regards to like different debates and things like that, and it gets very interesting to hear, that um sometimes, like, okay, you hear the comparison about humanity and animals and whatnot. You're like, oh, I've heard about, the whole we evolved or whatever the case is and all of this. And I'm just like, so then we stopped evolving at this form? Because I ain't seen no further evolution, not naturally. Now that's another thing too, because I mean, obviously, I mean, there's probably a lot of things going on in new evolution of humanity or something that's people are, from what I'm understanding, there's a lot of underground experiments and things going on. So maybe there is some other type of human that is out there. Or that people are working on, or whatever the case is, and that's a whole another thing. Y'all got to take the red pill and go down the rabbit hole and look into all that type of stuff yourself. However, yeah, yeah. I mean, let me keep going. So then, let me share with you guys this one right here. Hebrews 4:16. It says, "Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Again, it's a beautiful thing that God has given us, this grace and mercy. Again, it is a gift. Again, we should all be grateful, right? Grateful that He's extended this gift. Grateful that He's not like us, and it's not out here just, it's like He's giving us every opportunity to draw near to Him, and it's up to us to do that. And I guess that brings me back to what I was saying about what I was getting ready to tell you guys about what Pastor David Lynn was sharing. It's just the whole idea of love, right? Because people struggle, right? It's like we're out here struggling with the idea of, well, if God is loving, or why is He allowing this, or why is He allowing that, or whatever the case is. And it's like, well, what is the alternative, right? If He didn't give us free will to make the choice to love Him, for example, if we just focus on that part, making the choice to love Him, and He just made us all to automatically love Him without a choice, then is that love? Is that love? And y'all got everybody can let that marinate on their heart, souls, and minds today. If you think that would be loved for someone to control every aspect of you without your um, consent, um, and be like, love me, love me, love me. I mean, that's just, that's a robot, or that's someone without, being able to make up their own mind. And at the end of the day, people do that, right? They make up their own mind about what they want to do, how they want to live, and all these different things. Now you are free to do that, right? Because God gave us that free will. So everybody's free to do that. However, in the Bible, it's very clear that when you do that, there's certain consequences when it comes to certain choices. And so, yeah, you're free to make the choice to, and I guess, how can I say? Like, on one hand, when I think about the situation, and I'm not sitting here acting like I got it all together, or or whatever. I'm just gonna, when I think about this idea of having a choice and the free will, and like I said, people struggle with that, right? People struggle with. See, the issue is you have the choice and free will, right? And so people make messed up choices, or they free will to do ill will, right? Now, is that God's fault that a person decided to do evil with their free will? And then there's consequences to that? I don't know if that's God's fault. I think it's that individual person that made that choice to use their free will to do evil. It makes sense to me. But for whatever reason, what happens is everybody acknowledges the free will, right? Everybody's like grateful with it. Everybody's like, yes, I can do what I want to do. I have free will to do whatever I want to do, right? But then you do that, and then you experience whatever the consequence is of that, and then you're mad. Then you're pointing at God. Then you blaming God. When at the end of the day, it's very clear in the word, it's not like, because even though there's the Bible, right? There's the Bible that's very clear about this or that, right or wrong, some guidelines on how to live life and all these different. But even if you didn't have that, from what I'm understanding, it's written on our hearts. Like, deep inside, we know right from wrong. Deep inside, we know, good and evil. So, because of that, even if you don't have the Bible, right? Because that's the one of the debates too, is people like, well, some people don't know about God, some people don't know that. I mean, how do you know what people know? How do you know what other people know? Now, people may live as if they don't know, right? But you don't know what people know. So, and this is just me just thinking right now, brainstorming. So I'm just trying to, make some sense of these arguments here. In my humble opinion, what I believe is that yes, by sharing the gospel, that is one way that people know, right? But again, I believe also that it is written in our hearts what truth is. And at the end of the day, it's up to us to accept it. It's up to us to live in it, and acknowledge it but a lot of times we suppress it, right? A lot of times we go through life without acknowledging God and everything. And so it's not that it wasn't there for you to know. It's that you didn't want to know. You didn't want to acknowledge it. So does that mean you didn't know? Like, does that mean that you didn't have access to the information? I don't know. First thought just was in my mind just now. It's like, I guess sometimes people try to make things, black and white, right? Either they did know or they don't know, right? But even if you went to go have that conversation with somebody to ask them if they knew or not, and if they didn't know, quote unquote, then that is exposing them to it. So now they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things that, like, again, it's like the arguments or the things that people want to debate. And it's like you want to debate every aspect of God, right? You don't want to believe. You want to make everybody that do believe look crazy or whatever the case is. Like, there's a lot of stuff out here in regards to it. When at the end of the day, for me, it's like we can see what life without God looks like. We can see, all the evils that are going on in this world. And then we hear about all the evils, the evil things that we may not see too. And I mean, I guess, because yeah, I don't know. I'm really, really trying to understand and trying to break this down. Because, like, the alternative, like what you're asking of God, right, is to monitor humans to the point where he controls whatever controls them. God, you should have, stopped that person from killing this other person or something, right? That's probably one of the worst things that people can do, that I know of. I mean, obviously I'm here to do worse things, but let's just go with that, right? I think everybody generally believes that murder is wrong, and killing another human in any capacity, most people believe that that's wrong. So if someone went to go and kill someone else, God was supposed to stop that person. I mean, like, I'm trying to reason with you. I'm trying to understand, like, or to get. So God was supposed to stop that person from doing that, because He's God. I mean, yeah, the act of killing someone else is wrong. It's sad. It's terrible. But I guess the bigger issue is like what this may be too deep. I don't know. Maybe this is Pope. I don't know. But like, what was it that caused that person to do that? Like, what within that person make that murderer feel as if they needed to take this other person's life? So it's a heart issue. It's an issue of not valuing life issue. I mean, I don't know why He gave us free will, y'all. I mean, on one hand, I understand it, right? Because again, if He's out here controlling our every move and every aspect, and we had no choice in that, well, what is that? That's not humanity. That's the Sims game. That's robots. That's whatever else you want to think of that's controlled by somebody else or something else, whatever case is. That's that. It's not, freedom and love things. And so, I don't know, y'all. Y'all can let that marinate on your heart, souls, and mind today. Like I said, there's a lot to think about there. I can't answer that question, of, well, God, why did you give us free will? Because at the end of the day, like, we see what people do with their free will, and I don't know if we deserve free will, honestly. Based on what has happened and based on what is happening, we probably don't deserve the power that He's given us, the free will, the grace, the mercy, all those things. We don't deserve those things because we've done nothing to. We're not good, you know, to, what I mean? We're not just so great that we deserve all the grace and mercy or something like that. At the end of the day, He's giving this to us freely. And that's the amazing part. That's the amazing part. So the Bible verse of today is Matthew 5:44. It says, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you." Friends, I hope y'all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God's Sex and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. All right, Facebook and YouTube, man, I could sit here and just reflect on all of this and just keep going and going and going. So, I mean, I had to stop at some point, y'all. That stop at some point. One thing I wanted to let you guys know is that you're probably seeing it on social media right now, but our guest this week is Miss Vivian Burke of Partnership Matters. She is the first of the pre-records to start back up because, like I said, your girl has so many pre-recorded episodes at this point that it's like, I got to get these things out, man. These people have been waiting at least a month for me to get their episodes out or whatever. So Ms. Vivian Burke is the first of that. Again, she's with Partnership Matters. We had an awesome conversation, and that's going to be going live on Friday at 7 on our YouTube and Facebook and everything like that. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, y'all. Hit the notification bells and all that good stuff. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And be on the lookout for that conversation. Any other announcements? Not that I could think of. I was just gonna say, hey, pray for you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have been tired lately. I mean, I've been bright out of bushy tailed enough to do this, but when I wake up in the morning, I'll be like, ugh, ugh. But I don't want to get burnt out. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. But at the same time, I don't want to quit. Right? I don't want to stop the momentum because this is a beautiful thing that I've been able to go so long and so frequently with this, you know what I'm saying? Daily inspiration and weekly talk show. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And because like I said, it's the most consistent thing I've done online ever. So this is a huge accomplishment for me. I'm trying my best to keep it going. I thank you to anybody that supports in any way. It's been a blessing as well. And like I said, I just, appreciate this opportunity. I really, really do. I just gotta make it to my birthday, y'all. And then I'm gonna take a nice little break around that time. So let me see, it'll be July in a couple of days. So that's not far. That's not far. It's funny, I know my sister posted up a countdown or whatever. So so it's not far. And then I'll take a nice little break and then hopefully refresh, renew, recharge, and then be back to, keep it going for the rest of the year, But all right, y'all. Well, I guess I'll let you guys go because I've been sitting here chatting for a little while now, so I won't be long your time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye.